Good morning as I make this video. Our agenda for today is we're going to start with a do now, which is up on the board. We'll go over norms and expectations, announcements, objectives. You're going to get a lecture called Anatomy of a CER, and then you'll have work time to work on your CER or your study guide if you'd like. Don't forget that the Unit 3 study guide is due before the start of the unit test. The lactose lab data collection and CER in paragraph form that you're going to learn today is due by next Friday, so 1 week from today. Excuse me. As always, our norms and expectations are to be punctual, be prepared, be productive, be present, and be polite. You will need your lactose lab today for reference. You'll be taking 3 slides of notes, so have your notebook out. Don't forget the Unit 3 test is March 4th for periods 1, 3, 5, and March 5th for periods 2, 4, 6. If you're not going to be here that day, you need to reach out to me as soon as possible. Classwork and homework will lock at the scheduled start of the Unit 3 test, and the study guide is due at the scheduled start of the Unit 3 test, regardless of whether you are taking the test on that scheduled day. All right. Today, our objective, you will be able to translate a CER graphic organizer into paragraph form. And just a quick reminder about milk. Milk is derived from a mammal, should say a mammal, sorry, and therefore it contains lactose sugar. Lactose sugar is broken down by the lactase enzyme. Almond milk is not milk. It is not derived from a mammal and therefore does not contain lactose. What is lactose-free milk? Well, lactose-free milk is regular milk with a lactase enzyme added into it already. This is a slide of notes from yesterday, but if you didn't take this slide of notes, then you might want to take it down today so you have it to write your CER. All right, so anatomy of a science CER. I'm just going to warn you, science writing is dry. It doesn't need any colorful language. It doesn't need any zhuzhing up. It's just straightforward, the facts and the reason those facts matter. So here is the basic format of a science CER paragraph. You start your paragraph off with your claim. The next sentence should be your strongest piece of evidence. Follow your strongest evidence with reasoning, showing why or how the evidence supports the claim. Your second piece of evidence comes next. This should be immediately followed by the reason why this evidence is important. Your final piece of evidence goes into this sentence. The evidence, again, should be followed by the last piece of reasoning. Be sure to link the evidence to the claim. Why does this evidence prove that your claim is true? Don't just restate the evidence. I can't emphasize this enough. Lastly, you will restate your claim in a conclusion sentence. So you guys should know this structure. It's something you've been taught since at least elementary school, but now we're going to put it into science use. And this is how all labs, all scientific experiments are concluded with just a CER paragraph. So here is an example to the question, should students be allowed to drive at 13? Should students be allowed to drive at 13? Students should not be allowed to drive when they turn 13. There are hormonal changes happening in kids around that age. Because of these hormones, 13-year-olds are too emotional to comprehend the real and consequent laws. Also, the average height of a 13-year-old is 1 inch. Since teens at this age are not tall enough to reach the gas steering wheel, it would not be safe for them to operate a motor vehicle. Finally, statistics show when a younger person, statistics show the younger a person is, the more likely they are to get into an accident. This could mean that if we allow children as young as 13 to drive, we could see an increase in injuries and possibly even deaths. In conclusion, students should not be allowed to drive when they turn 13. Please, the red is your claim. The blue is evidence, just facts. The green explains why those facts are relevant to the claim. The green is not facts. It's kind of expanding on the evidence, talking about what ifs, probabilities, maybe this could happen, but it's just not quite fact. The blue are facts. So here are our 3 slides of planned notes. You do only have to write down what is in the box because technically what's above the box should be already in your notes. If you don't have what a claim, evidence, and reasoning are in your notes, please take the time to write these down. A claim is a statement that simply answers your driving or research question. A claim will usually be 1 sentence in length. A claim should not include any reasoning or evidence. Claims should not have words like because, however, or therefore. Start your paragraph with your claim. This is the statement you will be defending. So in the example paragraph, the claim was students should not be allowed to drive when they turn 13. In your milk lab, your claim might be the pink milk is blank, the blue milk is blank, and the gray milk is blank. The evidence, these are your supporting sentences, your data you are using. The evidence is the data you will use to support your claim or topic sentence. Evidence can be qualitative, non-numeric, such as things you observe or quotes from the reading. Example, there are many hormonal changes happening in kids around that age. Or evidence can be quantitative or numeric, such as data from charts, experiments, statistics from articles. Example, also, the average height of a 13-year-old is 5'1". After your claim sentence, present your strongest piece of evidence. Follow each piece of evidence with the reason why it supports the claim. So the evidence from the lactose lab. When we tested the pink milk, it was blank before the lactase and blank after the lactase, right? So you would say it was positive for glucose or negative for glucose. However you want to word that, just the facts. Finally, your reasoning is your expository sentence. The reasoning should explain how and or why the evidence supports the claim. It should be logical and easy to follow. Also, the average height of a 13-year-old is 5'1". There's your evidence. The reasoning, since most teens at this age are not tall enough to reach the gas pedal and see above the steering wheel, it would not be safe for them to operate a motor vehicle. Reasoning should follow each piece of evidence and take care to directly explain why or how that evidence supports the claim. You want to read your paragraph before you submit it to make sure you're meeting each of these points. Does this reasoning directly support my evidence? Does it tell me why my evidence supports the claim? So for example, this proves that the pink milk is blank milk because, and you're going to tell me why. Why does the pink milk being positive or negative before lactase or positive or negative after lactase support your theory that it is this milk? Use science. These 3 slides, you can find them in Schoology, have sentence starters for general claims, sentence starters for general evidence, sentence starters for general reasoning. More specific sentence starters for this lab can be found in the graphic organizer. And then for this lab, the lactose lab, your claim paragraph, you make an accurate and complete claim that answers the question. Provide the 3 strongest pieces of scientific data-based evidence to support your claim. No irrelevant claim or no irrelevant evidence should be included. Reasoning accurately and scientifically explains the relevance of all pieces of evidence in support of the claim. There are no inaccuracies in your reasoning. And then language and syntax. Investigator correctly uses and highlights or underlines all 5 scientific words. These are also written on the board. Lactase, lactose, glucose, enzyme, and control. If you incorrectly use lactase or lactose, you will get points off. If you don't use control, you will get points off. Then the investigator uses correct CER paragraph format. The CER contains no grammatical or spelling errors. I expect you all to proofread your work. So here we go. You can finish writing your CER graphic organizer. You can begin your CER paragraph using the tools provided in this lesson. I will give you the paper for the CER paragraph, or you can work on something else knowing that your CER data collection and paragraph are due on March 9th. Happy scientific writing, everyone.